I just lost internet connection there for a second. So I was talking about the flashcards. I've got a giveaway at the moment over on my blog if you would like to win a set of flashcards. So if you would like to do that, I'll leave the link above this video so that you'll be able to go straight to the link and enter the giveaway to win a set of the flashcards. There are only a few days of the giveaway left. It finishes on Tuesday, the giveaway does. So if you want to be in with a chance to win, then do please enter before then. So the second thing I want to talk about today is reading. I have a lot of questions asking me when and how people should start teaching their children to read. So really, I think starting to learn about books and loving reading and things, that should all be starting from birth. You know, a couple of days after birth, you can even start reading to your child. Reading to your child is really the most important thing when it comes to learning to read. What you want to do is instill a love of reading in your child. That's really, really important. If they don't think books are great, if they don't love listening to books, then they're just not going to be interested in learning to read. So that's the first thing. And there's a lot of research actually which suggests that listening to books from really early on is one of the best predictors of literacy outcomes. So reading to your baby is really important. Another thing is be a good role model to your children. So once they get to the age where you want them to learn to read, it's really important that they are seeing you reading. If they don't see you read, then they're probably not going to want to read themselves. So be a good role model to your child. You should probably, one of the best indicators of whether a child is ready to start learning to read is when they start to ask about letters that they see in their everyday environment. For example, you might have their name written on the bedroom door, or they might see things out and about, and they ask you, "Oh, what is that? What does that say? What does that sound like?" It shows that they're interested, and that probably means that they're ready to start. So just start talking to them about the sounds and about the words that they're asking you about. That's the first thing. Start by teaching the sounds rather than the names of the letters. For example, we all know the song the ABC song. It's not really a great way to teach a child to learn to read, because it's telling them the names of the sounds A, B, C. That's not the sound that it actually makes. So it's better to teach them A, B, K rather than A, B, C. And again, you can use, like I said in the previous video about the flashcards, you can start to teach them to in fun ways. You can make crafts about letters, you can use Play-Doh, you can use salt trays, you can get them writing on chalkboards. They don't necessarily have to start writing letters, just doing mark making. So zigzags, circles, swirls, that's the kind of precursor to writing. And then after that you want to start introducing how to write. A lot of the books these days, the Learn to Read books, they are based on phonics, and phonics is not really a good way to learn to read English, I would say, because English is not a phonetic language. So when you're teaching a phonics based system, you teach them all of these rules, and then you find so many words in the English language that these rules cannot be applied to, and it makes them really, really confused. My daughter, she was actually in school for a year, and she learnt to read with phonics, and it was really frustrating for her and for me when she was just getting so many words wrong. So I would say phonics, they need to learn a bit of phonics, but I wouldn't say it should be the main thing they are learning. It's really important to be using sight words, and for this I really like the Learn to Read set of books by Ladybird, the keyword books, because they teach from the very beginning to read sight words, and I think that is much more important when learning to read English than learning the phonics. If your child doesn't like reading, and there will be children that don't like to read, my daughter is one of them, she actually prefers writing to reading, I would say that maybe you should try changing the books that you're getting them to read. So it might just be that the books that they're reading are really not interesting for them. So either change them, try different books, or take them to the library and get them to pick books themselves that they want to read. So what age should children start reading? Well, there's not really a correct age. I mean, all children will be ready at different ages, but before the age of about 5 or 6, children are not ready for what we call decoding, which is looking at the individual letters and then putting them together. So when I say not ready, it means they haven't actually formed the connections in their brain that is allowing them to do that. So it can be quite difficult if you're trying to teach them to read before about the age of 5 or 6. You could start to teach them the letter sounds before that age, but I would say don't put too much emphasis on learning to read. There's not really much point. There's a lot of research that's been done on looking at children who learn to read at the age of 5 and children that learn to read at the age of 7, and what they found is that by the age of 11 their reading skills are exactly the same. So those children that had the early start in learning to read, they actually did not do better later on than children who started to read at a later age. And by the age of 15, 16, there's absolutely no difference whatsoever. What they did find, which was actually quite bad for the younger readers, was that those that started to read at the age of 5, they actually showed less positive outcomes, less positive attitudes to reading. So they were less likely to enjoy reading than the ones that started to learn to read later on. And also they were worse at text comprehension. So they did less well at being able to understand the text that they were actually reading. So what I would say is you shouldn't really be in a rush to teach your child to read. There are a lot of programs out there that say, you should be teaching your child from the age of, from a baby or a toddler age. It's not necessary at all. Cognitively, they're not ready for it. So I would say just wait until they show an interest in it, or wait until they're at the age where they actually got the cognitive ability to be able to decode words and put words together. So I hope you found that useful. I will be writing this up in a blog post, so be sure to check that out in a few days' time. And do remember that if you want to enter the competition to win a set of the Word United flashcards, they are available in 5 different languages, and they've got 4 different sets for each language. So there'll be 3 winners, and each winner will be able to get to choose which set they get. So if you want to be with a chance to win, I'll put the link by this video so that you can just click straight on that and enter the giveaway. And it does end on Tuesday, so be sure to do that before then. Okay, if you have any more questions that you'd like me to answer about speech and language issues, bilingualism or homeschooling, do leave me a comment below the video or send me a message, and I'll try to answer your questions in the next video. Okay, bye.